Good to see everyone.
Yeah, it's really good to be together today. This moment, right now.
Well, we could just go into a meditation and step back and let him lead the way. Let the Spirit lead the way. As we go within, we can allow the ideas of today's lesson to support us. It's lesson 156. I walk with God in perfect holiness. I walk with God in perfect holiness. Today's idea but states the simple truth that makes the thought of sin impossible. It promises there is no cause for guilt, and being causeless, it does not exist. When guilt is causeless, it does not exist. There is no cause for guilt. It follows surely from the basic thought so often mentioned in the text, that ideas leave not their source. If this be true, how can you be apart from God? If ideas don't leave their source, you could not be apart from God. How could you walk the world alone and separate from your source? We are not inconsistent in the thoughts that we present in our curriculum. Truth must be true throughout, if it be true. It cannot contradict itself, nor be in parts uncertain and in others sure. You cannot walk the world apart from God, because you could not be without him. He is what your life is. Where you are, he is. There is one life. That life you share with him. Nothing can be apart from him and live. Yet where he is, there must be holiness as well as life. No attribute of his remains unshared by everything that lives. What lives is holy as himself, because what shares his life is part of holiness and could no more be sinful than the sun could choose to be of ice, the sea elect to be apart from water, or the grass to grow with roots suspended in the air. All of these things sound ridiculous and impossible. There is a light in you which cannot die, whose presence is so holy that the world is sanctified because of you. All things that live bring gifts to you and offer them in gratitude and gladness at your feet. The scent of flowers is their gift to you. The waves bow down before you, and the trees extend their arms to shield you from the heat and lay their leaves before you on the ground, that you may walk in softness, while the wind sinks to a whisper around your holy head. The light in you is what the universe longs to behold. All living things are still before you, for they recognize who walks with you. The light you carry is their own, and thus they see in you their holiness, saluting you as Savior and as God. Accept their reverence, for it is due to holiness in itself, which walks with you, transforming in its gentle light all things unto its likeness and its purity. So beautiful, so powerful, and so natural and true. It's because there is no life apart from God. It's because ideas leave not their source. So however much the ego will state that this is not true, that you are alone and separate, it can't be so. This is still true. This beauty is still there, underneath the shields, underneath the fear. This is the way salvation works. As you step back, the light in you steps forward and encompasses the world. It heralds not the end of sin in punishment and death. In lightness and in laughter is sin gone, because its quaint absurdity is seen. It is a foolish thought, a silly dream, not frightening, ridiculous perhaps, but who would waste an instant in approach to God himself for such senseless whim?
Not me.
Jesus sees it so clearly and he shares it with us. Yet you have wasted many, many years on just this foolish thought. The past is gone with all its fantasies. They keep you bound no longer. The approach to God is near. In the little interval of doubt that still remains, you may perhaps lose sight of your companion and mistake him for the senseless, ancient dream that now is past. This is if you misperceive your brother or your sister. You may mistake them for a senseless ancient dream that now is past. Who walks with me? This question should be asked 1,000 times a day, till certainty has ended doubting and established peace. Today, let doubting cease. God speaks for you in answering your question with these words. I walk with God in perfect holiness. I light the world. I light my mind and all the minds which God created one with me. I light my mind and all the minds which God created one with me. Okay, guys, this is a powerful mind. We need to give its rightful due, its rightful power. We're not small. Our life is not meaningless, not random. There is this one life that we share with God. I walk with God in perfect holiness. This is such an invitation to trust. To let go of the ego's plans and schemes and rules. And just feel this beautiful, simple, present experience. it's not worth it to rush over it. It's not worth it to rush with things. We do things just to get them done and miss this holy moment. Just need to keep giving our willingness to feel it. And often we need to slow down to feel it. To know that we work with God in perfect holiness. That we are an idea in the mind of God that never left. That we never have to be afraid. Or lonely. Loneliness in God is impossible. Sometimes we can't feel this truth. You may not always feel like you're walking with God in perfect holiness. And what is it then that you have misunderstood about yourself? At those times, what is it that you are guided to do that you didn't dare to do? Or what image of yourself was in the way? And yeah, let's talk. Let's talk about this. We're here to explore together what it is that stands in the way so that we can let it go. So feel free to share, to show us if you'd like to lift up something.
Here in the community, we've been spending a day cleaning. But that's actually what we're doing here too.
The deep cleaning we're doing. Symbolically at the house today, but here, this is a deep cleaning. I just feel like this lesson makes me just very quiet, so powerful. I know God wants my mind. I know God has my mind.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Jenny and Barret. Yeah, I had a lot of resistance coming on camera and coming into the call. I just wanted to, the ego is just very loud and insistent that I not expose anything or say anything or so I was sitting in my living room. It was 10:30 and I went, no, I'm not going to join the call today. And I kept getting pushed. I kept getting just fucking pushed to come onto the call. And then, well, no, I'll just keep my camera off and say nothing. And I just went, okay, all right, okay. Here we go. So, things have seemingly blown up here in my family constellation. And it's just been a huge deep dive into the unknown. And, I watched a recent clip Helly had shared, not wanting to be in her son's presence if he'd been drinking. And, this sort of seems to be up. How do we embrace innocently our children's choices? And my daughter seems to have gone into a deep dive of darkness, and this seems to have been her lifelong journey, the battle between the ego and the Christ. And she's deeply immersed in the egoic world of looking for God through drugs. And so, of course, that's activated and triggered a lot of guilt and shame in the mother role that I have carried. So I'm just really asking the Holy Spirit to remind me that I'm walking with God in perfect holiness. And that as I see and proclaim the innocence within myself and have that deep subconscious illusion of separation from God washed from this, that I will see that in her and everyone else more clearly. But it's just, having to ongoingly remember that I'm not the personal self, and to be watching it in the cinema with Jesus. It's a tough one. It's a challenge. And as far as my trip to Peru, that sort of seems to be falling further and further away. But I really don't know. I don't, if this is just a big wall that's arisen to distract me from that call or that calling, whether it's even a calling, I don't know at this point. It just sort of feels like everything is on hold, and just having to be present and shine the light, have the light shine through this darkness of the shame and the deeply entrenched guilt from separating from God, and holding my granddaughters in the light and being there as light field capacity that I can be, to be truly helpful.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for bringing all this forward. I think one of the things you said, is this feeling that this calling to Peru is sort of maybe less pressing because other things are coming forward in your life. This is a thing actually that seems to happen pretty regularly as people are getting closer to big steps in their life, that family members get sick or, have a problem, recur that, it's a serious issue in their life. It almost seems like, well, no, of course you can't do that thing. You can't take that big step because, oh, look at what's happening to her or to him. We were just talking with someone about the scene in the latest Matrix movie where Trinity is ready to kind of break free. But before she can break free, the family problem actually comes in. So her husband in the Matrix comes to tell her, oh, that their child is in the hospital. You need to come right now. But this is exactly the point where she's just about ready to choose to wake up. It's like this sort of sleep of the Matrix is calling her back. So, yeah, I hear you even kind of have some uncertainty whether this is really your calling, and I don't feel that way when you talk about it. It feels like this is what is the real spark for you. This is what really lights you up. That's not something you can manufacture. That's not something that you can kind of just toss aside. But it is to look at all the feelings that these things bring up, and even the doubt thoughts, let them come up, but try not to believe in them as they come up.
Thank you. Yeah, I really just need to keep allowing it to flush through and just walk past the illusion of doubt and fear and guilt and shame and death, because it feels like death.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it is the death of the ego that I need to embrace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the ego will try to throw all kinds of scary things your way, and they seem really scary, but they're actually like shadow puppets. They're dark and they're formidable looking, but a shadow puppet is actually, there's no substance to it. It's just something that's been cast on the wall.
Yeah, one of these things.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, it feels better just to have shared that, because keep it inside is very constrictive.
Yeah, the world is doomed to fall apart. Things fall apart. It seems like people, in a way, fall apart sometimes. Things don't work out. But then it's important to give the responsibility to God and not take it on. To really give over the people.
Right. Yeah, so it's pretty messy right now, and I can't fix it.
Mm-hmm. You don't have to.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm grateful for all of you and the mighty companions on the call, and God to join with, and as we walk through together, hand in hand.
Yeah. Thank you. And so thank you for sharing.
Yeah. God walks with you.
What's that?
God walks with you.
I will step back and let him lead the way.
Good idea.
Yeah, I get the line. Only the miracle can help you now. Only the miracle.
Okay. I love you guys.
Mm,
I love you.
love you.
I really feel it. Thank you.
It feels good that you allow these feelings.
Because when I'm healed, I'm never healed alone.
Exactly. I'm sitting here thinking about that. My little experience, little story I have about my son when I left Sweden and he healed. When I healed my mind, he healed. He was struggling so much with me while I still was there. He didn't struggle with me, but he struggled while I was there. And when I left to heal my mind, he had such progress in his mind. Because people are reflections. And I think when these things happen, they're happening now with your daughter, your granddaughters. It's because the darker, deeper thoughts are coming up for healing. So deep clearing, and you still can ask, what is the guidance for you? So you said Peru is not, it goes farther and farther away, but is it really, I think you can still allow that, even now. Like you said, you can't fix this, and it's not, we can't fix people.
We can't even fix ourselves.
Exactly.
Okay. Fucking fix me, please. That's my prayer. Just
Pretty good
please.
one. That's a pretty good one.
Heal my mind.
Yeah, it's a good prayer because it comes from a real place.
Well, the piece that sort of really gets me is, I guess this is part of the process. You know, we come in as parents, and there's that line, that lineage that, you know, as we heal, then our children heal. That pisses me off. It's like, that's a lot of responsibility to come in with.
Not just our children, the whole world.
Pardon?
Not just our children.
Oh, the world. Okay. So get off that kick of being a mother. That's like, we're just here all as one. Okay. But it seems to be most strongly reflected by our children, by our biological children and grandchildren in this dream.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But we don't even know. Now, Jesus says that there'll be many, you know, like effects of the miracle that you're not even aware of.
Right.
The miracle ripples throughout all of time and space.
Because they're not really our children.
No. We need to remember their thoughts. So there are shameful thoughts that you're looking at right now. It's bringing up shame, maybe this drug use. The use of drugs, the losing her mind through drugs. You said it brings up shame.
Unspeakable shame. That's how it's felt. But now I'm speaking it out. It's like, I can't keep it unspoken. It just got to be revealed, because there are no secrets.
Exactly. It feels so good that you're speaking it.
Because it's being spoken out, not just by me, but for everything and everyone.
Mm-hmm.
This dream, we're all waking up from this nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's through drugs or alcohol or whatever compulsions we seem to have been distracted by.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Good. All right. Well, that feels like some of that has been part of the layers are being, you know, gently washed away. Although it's felt pretty intense. It's not been that gentle. Yeah. Okay. All right. Ugh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Okay. So who else would like to share? Anne?
Hi. Just help me to see what's been going on in my mind, and but I mentioned, you know, like about needing some donations, and he hasn't donated, and I can feel like, you know, the specialness in that, you know, the disappointments and what goes with it. It's like, that brings up some guilt, and it brings up some shame as well, you know, and that's all really.
Yeah. and to look at the fear, because this is about guidance, because the fear would ask anyone you can, it's guidance.
Yeah.
The trust that spirit is the provider, not people. You're actually not there to ask people for anything.
Yeah.
It's to shine light, and when you're a demonstration, you will know that you have everything you need. And you experience the lesson we read today. What would you need, So really, really trust them. Yeah.
And I have such strong moments of feeling that, it's all okay. And then it's almost like a jab in my stomach, ooh, what about this? Wants to bring me back into this. Yeah.
And it's so precious what spirit wants for you. The learning that you are sustained by the love of God. How are you going to learn that other than through these experiences that you're starting to have, Yeah. And the fear needs to come up, and the fear is coming up because it's been buried, it's been in there, and coming up to be released.
Yeah, it feels a strong desire not to go back into those fear places and live in them. So I just pray to let go and allow God to show me fully.
Yeah.
It's like, no, keep going. Yeah. So my heart feels really, really full. And
What else do you need, Anne? You rest in the full heart, fullness of love. And what you need.
Thank you.
Yeah, anyone else feeling the call to share tonight?
I think there's a part of me that feels a little embarrassed to share because it's more about my breakup, and I'm like, oh God, everyone's gonna be so sick of hearing about it. Some fear of that I haven't healed it yet or something, that I feel self-conscious. But yeah, 2 weeks ago, Jonathan and we've been staying friends. We broke up in October, and 2 weeks ago we decided to cut all communication, and just so we could really feel to really move on. And yeah, particularly today is when a lot of the grief has hit. I've had a lot of moments of feeling quite expansive and joyful and playful, and today I feel the heaviness. And yeah, I think I'm not really sure what to say other than how much it feels like a loss. from where I stand. And I get that there's another perspective. I get there's like a higher, but from here, it just feels like a loss of love, a loss of connection, a loss of comfort. Someone who I trusted, it just feels like loss.
Yeah. And it's okay to go through the feelings. Maybe even to go more into the feelings. And then when the feelings are moved through, when they've been, flushed up and shifted, then you can remember the metaphysics and you can know that nothing has happened, But you actually can't do it the other way around. And you can try to just, say, well, it's all a dream, all an illusion, but without moving through the feelings, it's just going to feel fake.
This is just lasting a lot longer than I thought it would. It's kind of dragging out a bit. In several months. So, yeah.
It's impossible to judge our own healing, to know how it should look.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Glad you raised your hand. And I just feel to kind of, again, repeat that message, which is that the feelings have to be moved through first. I think pretty much everyone knows, the bigger metaphysics around the course already, but we can't gloss over what's inside, what hasn't been fully felt. We can't just affirm the feelings away or pretend they're not, a thing. They are there until they've been fully allowed, fully witnessed. So, encouragement, everyone to do the emotional part. That's it for our time. We've got one more hand, Julie.
I just wanted to maybe share about grieving for a relationship that I experienced the last relationship. I was with someone for 10 years, and it took 2 years, not in deep sadness and crying all the time, no, but it seemed to come in waves, and as Daniel you said, and over that period of time, but by the second year, I learned to welcome those waves. And it was different levels. It's not like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's not like, oh, I'm back in there. No, it was, oh, look at that, another wave, and with it, all kinds of memories, and hold space for myself, just sit in it, sit with it. And at some point I was totally guided to drive to a place we loved together. Like, we love going there. It's a river that is so pristine, so beautiful. Just drive there, and all the way I was crying all the way, and I was thinking, like, what am I doing? I'm nourishing something. So I had doubt thoughts, but I went to that river and I let some personal objects reminding me of him in the river. And he called me actually after I went. He didn't know. We rarely talk. And he called me and I was, oh my God. And so it's true that some kind of ritual, not to precipitate and push and accelerate the grief, but to just be present and aware and mindful of what's coming through and welcoming it. Not to accelerate anything. That's my point more. And it's really to let spirit heal, not us heal, but our job is just to feel and to hand over and to let it. That's it.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Yeah. So go on from here with this message of allowing in us and through us, and yeah, have a beautiful rest of your night or rest of your day, and yeah, lots of love to everyone. Okay. Go ahead, Juan.